and it's going to sound too simple, too broad, but the easiest way to develop people skills is by talking to people. And welcome to another episode of Reno's Rants here on the Roughnecks podcast. Make sure to stay up to date with everything we got going on by signing up for the newsletter that is on roughneckspodcast.com. Sign up for that, stay up to date, and hey, while you're there, go ahead and support us. Grab some merch while it's there. We got a lot of cool stuff from t-shirts to mugs to flags to pretty much anything that you can think of. And I tell you what, use promo code Reno and get yourself 10% off. All right, let's dive into today's rant. And welcome to yet another episode of Reno's Rants, except this time I think it's going to be a little bit special. Actually, it is a little bit special because this is the first of Reno's Rants duos, and guess who's going to be joining me? The one, the only, Cole Nixon, everybody.
It's weird. I've never been on the other side of an intro. I'm usually the one doing the intro. I like this.
So this is going to be sort of a newer thing coming along with Reno's Rants. We're going to have some duo stuff coming, and we had to get Cole, right? Cole had to join me. It's been, what? I don't know if you and I have done an episode together other than my episode.
No, back in episode 70 something, I think, is when you did your guest episode. And then it was a few months after that you started the Reno's Rants, but we haven't done an actual episode. And the funny thing is we have a recording here, and then we also have another recording, but I won't announce what that is yet. But we do have another recording. I think you guys can probably guess, if that are listening, what kind of recording we're doing. But we got another recording in a couple, next week?
Yeah.
Next Friday.
Next week.
Yeah, next Friday.
Looking to it. But no, and we're here at Cole's spot too. I got to brag a little bit on what's happening right now. I feel like I'm on Joe Rogan or something. I got the headphones on, and I'm hearing myself talk. We got these microphones. I tell you what, man, this is the setup right here.
See, I eventually do want to get a table and actually kind of not like a round table, but have something that's have something that you sit at instead of, I don't know. I've gone back and forth because a lot of people like the futon or a couch too, because they're you're comfortable. You're actually sitting in something comfortable. You can get comfy gaming and office chairs type chairs, but I don't know. We'll see I don't have the spot for it now, but maybe once we move to the next house, whenever that may be, we've already talked. I told her, I was I either need a garage with a loft or a barn that I'm going to put a separate room in, or I get the whole basement. I'm making it a podcast studio. So that's the plan, but we don't have a lot of room at this house. So
we got the foundation set. This is really what you need, is just the basic stuff.
You should have seen it.
Then you could just expand.
Originally when I started recording episodes, it was all virtual because I started in college. I did one or two in person with people from college, but then it was not this type of setup either. It was one microphone. You have the microphone now. That microphone, I'd set it right here, and I'd be
both lean in.
We have to be close enough that it'll pick it up. And then I moved home, recorded virtually out of one of the bedrooms upstairs because I was one of 4 kids, but all the other kids have moved out. Man. So I had 4 bedrooms to play with essentially. And then when I moved here, I started doing more in-person episodes, and I used to do them upstairs on the couch. Now I moved it back down here once we finished, because originally there was no curtains here. This is just the shelving unit behind us.
Dude, it looks awesome.
And then we didn't have any drywall up either. So once I got all that done, I was all right, now it actually looks official down here.
Sweet, man. Well, hey, so on the duos, it's kind of how I think we're going to run it a little bit. Is there's really no specific topic per se. We're just going to kind of just bounce ideas off of one another, just kind of, catch up on things, and then once we start going, then that's where you can expand different topics. But that's one thing, looking to the future of these duo episodes, is throwing us questions, topics, anything you want to hear. You can do that. Or either emailing us, info@roughneckspodcast.com. You could shoot us DMs on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be. Give us some topics. But I guess, should we slowly start rolling into this, Cole?
We'll roll into it. And I'm going to throw you a question. Before we get into this, though, I really have to throw you these questions because I don't think you've answered them yet. So the chicken versus tiger question that you gave us in Q&A number 9 or 8, I believe. It was episode 170. I got to know, would you rather fight 1 tiger-sized chicken or 10 chicken-sized tigers?
When I said that question, I really didn't think too much into it. And then you and Dante took it like you're looking up how big tigers were and all this stuff. And after hearing that, I'm definitely taking the 10 chicken-sized tigers, and they're going down. Because like a chicken weighs what, like 5 to 10 pounds?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that? Yeah, that's barely a kitten.
Yeah, they're small enough that you could probably just like start kicking them out of the way.
Oh yeah, but dude, getting a tiger-sized chicken.
When me and Dante were looking up like the weights and stuff of the tiger, and we were like, dude, like some of them are like 600 pounds. I'm like, there's no way I could fight a chicken that's 600 pounds.
And I was thinking like, all right, so what would that kind of be? Would it be like an ostrich? And I'm like, could I take an ostrich down? like I don't know if I could take an ostrich down. And then you add like 2 of those together, then the chicken. I'm not winning that one.
No.
I might win the 10 tigers, but
I just be worrying about getting bit. Like it's like, would they have like their baby? Even if they don't have their baby teeth per se, like getting bit by any type of tiger, whether it's a cub or a full-grown tiger, that's not going to be fun.
I'll take my chances.
Yeah. And then the other one I got to ask is the Costco one. If you were, or how long would you survive in a Costco? What, lights stay on, everything, like utilities are fine.
Utilities stay on. You can't go outside. And I should have added, you're not allowed to build a garden either.
I think you did in the question.
Okay.
I believe you did.
Yeah, so you can't build a garden. How long can you last in Costco? It doesn't get restocked, so whatever you have in there, you got to live off that until it runs out. I'm saying, because they have like those giant bags of rice.
That's true.
Like if it really comes down to it, you could live off like the rice for quite a while.
I mean, look what they do in Survivor. Don't they give them rice?
Yeah,
like that's one of the things that they give them, and it's like that they find a way to you can portion that for a long time.
Yeah, and it like doesn't go bad.
Yeah.
So I can make the rice last probably a couple years, and then you add everything else. But you got to freeze. I would freeze everything first, make sure everything is frozen, pack the freezers up, and then eat anything that's going to go bad immediately. Of course, all the canned stuff I'm saving for later.
Yep. That's the thing is like you can go through. It'd take months probably to actually go through all the food,
just sort everything.
But you could go through and be like, all right, like essentially organize it of like dates that it goes bad or stuff that doesn't go bad, and be like, all right, I have to eat this by this date. And then it's like, oh crap, this all stuff is going to go bad in like 2 weeks. I can have a feast tonight. This is awesome.
Or like, I thought of I Am Legend. You seen the movie with Will Smith?
Yep.
And like, how he's got like the cans and stuff still like all stocked. So he's making it work with the zombie apocalypse.
It's true.
I bet I could last 15, 20 years.
See, my original first thought was like 5 years.
That's a long time.
But what I said when we answered this question in the last Q&A on episode 180, I said, how long until like the alone factor kicks in? Of being like the mental side of being by yourself. Because have you ever seen the show Alone?
No.
Oh, dude, it's like they put them out, like they drop you off in the wild. It's one of those shows, but you're by yourself and you're allowed to take like 2 items and you have to find shelter, find food, do everything, and you're just completely by yourself.
Oh my God.
And that's what a lot of people, they're fine on food, they're fine on water. It's the mental aspect of being by yourself, and they're like, you're just literally sitting here all day, like thinking to yourself, talking to yourself. That would be the one thing that like would take me a while to like get past.
They gotta have like, or I don't know. iPhones, at least Apple Music somewhere.
I was gonna.
Maybe
I'd play like the toys. If you go hit the kids' toys, like at least it's something.
start a podcast and then just like record it back to me. I'm talking to myself. Give myself my own Q&As.
Yeah, I don't know. I think 15 years is possible.
I think I could do 15 years.
But definitely the alone factor would be the one thing that would drive me insane.
Oh, I'd, like after 50, like say it was like 15 years exactly, then they came and like took you out.
Yeah.
Like getting back into society, I would just
that's what
I'd be nuts.
Dante was saying. He was like, dude, imagine on that show alone, because there's like they have like 10 of them, and then it's like whoever's lasts the longest, and they don't know when other people drop out, and it's whoever lasts the longest wins money. And they're like, he's like, imagine if they just drop a Costco in the middle of wherever they're at, and it's like if you find it, like, but you can't come out once you're done. Like once you're in, you're stuck in there. But then again, it's like you're stuck in that. And I was like, Dante, the show would go bankrupt because people would just last forever.
For real. I didn't even think about the mental side. Total game changer. All right, what else you got?
Why do you hate Ohio State? I have to ask it. I don't think you've actually really said it on the podcast, but people know.
Well, it's a big thing at my work too, because everybody there's an Ohio State fan. It seems like
it's everywhere you go in Ohio anymore.
TVs are on. Oh my gosh, it's a. All right, I'm ready for some backlash here. There's a bunch of Walmart fans out there with Ohio State. They know nothing about Ohio State, but yet they walk into a Walmart or somewhere, see an Ohio State shirt, and they wear it. Now they become a fan. You know, great marketing on Ohio State, but true fans, diehard fans, I don't know. Now, when I say that, like, it's still an awesome, you know, I'm not necessarily I can go to a concert and not necessarily know the person or like be into it, but it's still a good vibe to go, and like it's exciting, it's fun to go to those games. So I get that, like going for the entertainment side of it. But all right, so the reason that I do not like Ohio State, I hate Ohio State. Not because I played them, not because we got like absolutely demolished. None of that. Actually, the game, the atmosphere, the players, like everything about it was so awesome. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. The thing that just took all Ohio State, everything away from me. And I grew up an Ohio State fan. Like growing up, my whole life I was an Ohio State fan. And even going to Kent State, like I'm still watching those big games. But the atmosphere for the players was garbage. I'm talking from the bus drivers to the hotel staff to the hotel food to the fans. We were on the bus, like, look, like as an underdog and knowing that we're playing, you know, the Ohio State, right? We know realistically we're probably not going to win this game. Everybody else out there knows we don't really stand a chance here. But man, the way we were treated, you would have thought we were Michigan. Like as soon as we walk into the hotel, like it just dirty looks all the time. There's fans around us, booing us, flipping us off. Like we're like, come on, guys! Like
it's Kent State. This isn't Michigan. This isn't like Penn State. Why are you guys getting so upset right
like,
now?
I know we're inner Ohio like rival. Like it's not even a rivalry within Ohio. It's just like we're just another Ohio school. Like I get that we're here to be competitive, but holy cow,
yeah.
You know, flip us off, then we're on the bus and they're shaking the bus again, flipping us off as we're going in. Whereas, and the reason that bothered me so much, like whatever, that's cool. Bring that dirt on. It's just the other places we went were so nice. They treated us so nice. Like
because you played it. Did you play at Penn State too?
Yeah, we played at Penn State, Alabama, LSU, Illinois.
And never had anything like that.
Nothing like that. Like Penn State, we got locked up in some really shitty hotel with like whatever. Like fine. But like Alabama, for example, like that Southern charm, that, you know, hot Southern hospitality was so true. Everybody there was so nice to us. The food was amazing. Even the fans, like we'd be on the elevator with the fans at the hotel, and they'd come up and be like, "Hey guys, you know, good luck tomorrow. Stay safe. Like, don't get hurt out there. Enjoy your time here. Like, welcome to Alabama." And it was like we felt welcomed, and it was awesome. Whereas the Ohio State side of it, we felt none of that. And that's, you know, is it part of their plan? Is it part of, you know, getting the other team riled up? Sure, I'm sure it is. But whoa, it was just on a different level that I haven't experienced before, and it just left such a sour taste in my mouth that I really cannot be an Ohio State fan anymore, excluding, well, Cole and I had an experience. And I made a deal. This person had 18 holes to convince me why I should root for Ohio State while he's playing, and he convinced me. So I will root for Ohio State. I take that back. I will root
for that player.
We won't spoil who it was. I'll root for that player, and I hope he does really well. I hope he throws for 7 touchdowns, and they win. Or no, and they score like 50 points, but the other team wins by 1. That's my hope.
He's in the Heisman talk, but they're not in the national championship.
Right. So that's the story behind my Ohio State greed, and even the fans that I was talking about. Like I feel it now, even like being surrounded by these people at my work, and just like everywhere I go, it's that same feel, and I don't want to be part of that cult.
The fans, like, I'm Ohio State fan, obviously. Like, I have a Busch Light Ohio State flag. I got an Ohio State flag in there. I like Ohio State, but like some fans, they go to extreme where I'm like, listen, I watch the game and I root for them, but like it's not my life. Like if they lose, I'm like, oh damn. Some people are like talking about it for weeks and stuff, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's literally just a game for us. It's entertainment.
There's a guy at my work who's like, well, you remember in 2012 when they were up by this and so threw that?
No, I don't.
Pick. I'm like, I don't remember like any plays that I like. There's a select few plays that I actually remember in college. I don't know if that's because all the hits to the head, but like,
I don't remember.
I don't know a lot of plays. I don't remember it.
I feel like I would always remember like breaking my elbow in high school, like my senior year and stuff. And like
major plays, yeah.
I like look at the video and I'm like, I feel like I don't remember it happening. Wait, what, did it really happen that way? Like I can't remember. Like, and it's one of those things. Like, yeah, you remember it for a little bit, but then you just move past it. Because like I will cherish my memories playing college football, high school football, all of that forever. But I'm not gonna live or die by it. Mm-hmm. Like it's not my life. And there's some of the fans, even that, my favorite's the people that maybe they played in high school or never played at all, and they're like, what the hell are they doing out there? And I'm like, that was a design play. Like, why didn't he throw the ball to this guy? Like, it might have been a design play to specifically go there. Or, you know what? The defense just picked the good play that combated it. Yeah, that's all it is. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. And you're not going to get a 20-yard gain every play. Like, that's not realistic. You strive to get 3 yards of play. If you get 2 to 3 yards of play, you're moving forward, you're good.
My favorite is when they're like, why do they keep running the same play? Why do they keep running the same play? It's like, well, if you take a look a little bit closer, you'll realize that they're just one block away, they're one cut away from scoring. So they're going to take the chance to run that play again and again in hopes that they hit it just right, because they know that is the play for them. That they know that's the play that they've been running all week. That's the play they've been scouting the defense for. So of course they're going to keep running it. And maybe one time a guy just missed a block, or the running back made the wrong cut. Like, who knows? One of my
favorites, like, why are they still throwing the ball? Like, he hasn't completed any. Because you still have to throw the ball. You can't just run the ball every play. It's not going to work, or vice versa. Like, you have to still keep them like honest. Like, you can't just. Yeah, I don't know. I get it. It surprises me that the hospitality was so bad. There was hostility, but the hospitality, and I don't know. I feel like I kind of would have expected it from people like a team like Alabama too, like a bigger, or LSU, or like stuff like that. But I don't know.
Yeah, guess I'm wrong. And like at first we were just like, all right, the bus driver's just kind of a dick. And we're like, wow, this hotel staff's kind of a dick. Like, why are these fans here? Like, we got in, 2 days prior. I was like, why are they here? They like knew we were coming in. I don't know, man. I think it was definitely strategy.
It could be. That was also the year they won the national championship, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. And that was after Virginia Tech lost.
I was just about to say, I want to throw that in. They lost to Virginia Tech, so they were nice and pissed off and came down our throats.
It was not a good situation for you guys. Maybe that's why the fans were just still pissed off from the week before.
There we go.
But I kind of wanted to ask you something about, you talked about it in Reno's Rants number 12, which hasn't came yet out yet of this recording, but it'll come out before this episode, obviously. But you talked about how people skills are so important. How can someone, do you think, develop better people skills?
I mean, that's a good question, but honestly, I think the easy, and this is going to sound too simple, too broad, but the easiest way to develop people skills is by talking to people. Even if that's like, going, instead of someone saying, or you say, hey, how are you? Where you're kind of passing by somebody, you're just like, how's it going? And then you're just like, good, good. Okay. And then you leave, like extend that conversation a little bit if you want. Or instead of saying, when they ask you, how are you doing? Instead of saying good, say, I'm actually doing fantastic today. Just a slight change in tone, a slight change in the answer that you give someone, it like makes them perk up a little bit and kind of catches them off guard, which is a good thing. Then you get more interaction right there. Then you guys laugh, joke, and then the next time you see each other, guess what? They're expecting that. Now the conversation's going to become easier and easier, and then you get to know that person a little bit more. It's just subtle things, even if it's the cashier, like while they're checking out your food, like, have the conversation with them. How's your day going? Man, you guys are busy today. Or like, simple things, just asking an additional question, I guess, is a really good way to start. Just ask one more question and take it slow. Take it slow. It's not like you got to go start talking to everybody immediately.
Yeah.
And, jumping on podcasts immediately. That's not what we're saying here.
I have a cashier at one of the gas stations that I stop at pretty frequently, like if I'm on my way to work and need to stop and grab an energy drink or whatever. And he is always one that, like, it's 6:30 in the morning. I am tired. Of course, I think he's been there since like 4:30, so like he's already 2 hours into his day. But and like he will sit there and like have conversations with me about things. And like the first couple times, I was just like, yeah, But then I was like, I should be having this conversation, because what's the worst that's gonna happen? Like, and it, like, now I talk to him in the mornings, I'm like, and then I'm on my way to work, I'm like, I just woke up a little bit, like I feel a little bit better about my day. But yeah, I mean, honestly, this podcast has helped my people skills so much. I would have never been the person at work to talk to customers when my boss isn't there. But now I am the only person that talks to customers pretty much when my boss isn't there. Like, they'll come out and be like, asking me questions, and I'm sitting there, I think the other guy gets mad because he's working, and I'm like, it's just us two. So I'm like, I want to come help you, buddy, but I don't want to also tell this customer, like, screw you. I gotta go. Like, you got to keep the customer happy. So like having conversations with so many people throughout this podcast, and like you said, having a podcast or jumping on a podcast isn't the best. Like, you don't have to do that to create really good people skills. It's just talking to people. Like, whether it's, somebody that the cashier is a good one, just because like cashiers always like to talk anyway. Or your hairstylist, they like to talk. Yeah. Usually I'm not one that talks when people are cutting my hair, but if they talk, like I'll talk too. Once you get me talking, I don't shut up. But yeah, I mean, just talk to people, because like you said in your episode, people skills will get you a lot further in life. I mean, how has people skills helped you with your job and being able to excel in your job and move up the ranks? Like, you wouldn't probably be able to do it if you didn't have people skills.
Not at all. And it's not necessarily about what you know, it's about who you know. In order to know other people, you gotta let them know who you are. You gotta talk to them a little bit, and also like have a confident behavior to it. Even if you don't know what you're talking about, if you're still confident enough, like people still feel that. They feel that energy, and they feel your body presence too, your body language. If you're talking to someone, you're looking away all the time, or you're like your hands are always crossed, or whatever. Like, it shows that you're kind of timid. Like, be relaxed. Have a good conversation. Put your chest out. You know what I mean?
One of the big, like, the confidence things, one of the biggest things I've learned is, even if you don't know exactly what you're talking about, if you say it with confidence, people will believe you. Now, if you don't know what you're talking about, don't lie.
Yes, but don't lie.
Say what you know with confidence, and then also be upfront, being like, I don't know exactly about this, but I do know that this, and this. Like, it's the same thing. Like, I do it with I don't know everything about working out. I don't know hardly really much about like the fitness side of things, but I know enough from college. And like the guy at work, he'll ask me questions all the time, like, "Hey, what does this exercise hit?" And I'll be like, "I'm not exactly sure, but I know it for sure hits this muscle, and I think it hits some other muscles, but I don't know for sure." And it's like, say it with confidence that you believe in yourself, because then they're gonna believe in you when they ask you questions. But don't lie either. You just make sure you tell the truth. And if you have to be upfront and honest and be like, I don't know, it's okay. But say that with confidence as well.
Dude, that saying I don't know, like at my work, that is preached to say I don't know. Like the worst thing you can do is give, like where I work, is give somebody wrong information. Like unless you know for sure, you tell them I do not know, but I will find out for you. Like
that follow up is what's really important. I think I don't know, but I will figure out. Like I will figure it out. That's important.
And then they trust you. It's like, okay, like they're gonna help me out. Like, you know, even if they're coming to you for advice and you say, I don't know, but let me find out. And it's like, okay, then they're still with you instead of just saying, I don't know. Then they look to go somewhere else. Versus if you have that follow up, they're going to stick with you.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it drives me insane sometimes when people are just like, I don't know, and then just turn around and walk away. And it's like,
well, I'm never asking them again.
Like if you like how you said I don't know makes me like not even want to like come to you with a question again. Like and that's the thing too. And like if you don't know and like let's say you go to your boss or like he asks you to do something, you don't say I don't know, or you think you have an idea and you want to try and figure it out. That's fine. But if you get to a point where you are literally stuck, you have to be able to go back and be like, hey, I went and tried this. I thought I knew how to do it. I need some help. Like I need to help figuring out exactly how to do it. I do it all the time at work. Like I get sent out on service calls like, hey, this heater needs fixed. Go find out what you know. And I go do what I know how to do. If it's still not fixed, I will call my boss and be like, hey, I tried this, I tried this, I tried this, I tried this. I don't know what else to try. What do you have? Like, what ideas do you have for me? There's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. And it's like, what was I thinking? So, and like when someone comes to you for a question and you say like, or if you know who has the question, they come to you like, hey, I got this thing, do you know about it? It's like, oh no, but they do. And when you direct them to that person, you clearly didn't know. So once you direct them to that person, you say, hey, once you ask them, let me know because I'm curious too.
Yes.
So don't just, move them away if you don't know the answer. Like be curious enough to ask them, like, let me know what they say because, just so the next time someone asks me that question, I know
exactly.
What it is.
Yeah, and it's not saying you have to excel in everything. Like you have to be proficient at everything. It's just having a general idea of a lot of things because it's better to know a little about a lot than a lot about a little.
That's my favorite quote. Know a little bit more than a little bit about a lot.
Yes, you just have to know enough. Like, and that's why, like, I will read books that aren't necessarily up my alley. Like, not I don't do it all the time, obviously, because then I like will get burnt out on reading. But I'll find a book and I'm like, I don't know if I like this, but it's a short one, so you know what, I'll give it a shot. And it's may end up turning into something that I do like or I do agree with. Not always, but you never know what might come from it. And that's always the biggest thing in like arguments, whether it's a lot of people bring it up in like politics, which I'm not getting into politics on this podcast. I always refuse. But like one of the things, like you'll see people arguing right, left, whatever, but they don't know the other side. If you have an argument with somebody that knows both sides politically, you're not probably going to win because they'll be like, yes, I agree. That is true. But do you know about this, and this? Like being able to go back and forth. And I've seen it so many times where people will say something about the other side. And I'm like, that's not true. Like that's not what, no, like that's actually more on you, the other side, like your side, not the other side. It drives me insane. The politics is like the only example that I could really think of off the top of my head, but there's a million examples of that. And just knowing both sides of arguments, whatever type of argument it is very important. So it's not, you don't want to turn arguments into one-sided arguments.
Right. You know your weaknesses, you know what they're going to ask.
Exactly. That's actually a really good point. Like it's very important to recognize your weaknesses in whatever it is. I mean, that's a big thing in fitness, isn't it? Like that. I mean, you could bench, say you bench freaking 365, but all you do is chest and your legs look like little string beans. Congratulations, you're good at bench. That's it.
Good at one thing.
You can't be good at one thing. You kind of have to be good at a lot of things, like we've talked about.
I know that's why your low back's hurt.
Yep.
You know, and if you train your back a little bit more, or you train your legs a little bit more, that's actually going to help you with your bench. So there's more to it than, you know, just focusing on one thing. If you focus on some of the stuff that you don't really think about, you're recruiting so many more fibers and muscles that you weren't necessarily awake at that time. And now that everything's awake, everything's in one, you know, all in unison, like you're going to be you're going to be more powerful. You're going to be stronger throughout. I hear that a ton. It's just like, oh, well, I hurt my shoulder, so I stopped doing all shoulder exercises. I'm like, I think it should almost be the opposite. I think you should be strengthening that
should
thing.
mean, yeah, that means you need to, like, and we're not saying you have to lift the heavy weights. You can do mobility exercises that will help you so much more. Like you've talked bands. You can do band workouts. I've done band workouts in college that have put me on my ass. Completely put me on my ass.
One of those red mini bands, and you're set. Like you are set. It doesn't have to be all this crazy stuff.
Yes.
One little thing, you're set.
Yeah, you can't get completely everything, but you can get a really, really good workout in with just a band.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't have access to the gym. Like that's not a good excuse. There's plenty of things you can do at home.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of things you can do at home. We have plenty of clients who are
Stop calling me out. Stop calling me out.
Look at all this space, Cole.
I have bands right in that room too.
See?
I need to get back into it. I've been telling myself it just has yet to happen, but it is going to happen very soon. We've been talking about, we have a weight bench at work too. So like we should be, one guy works out fairly regularly, not me or my boss.
Well, hey, I know a guy.
Yeah, that's weird. I know a guy too.
First duo in the books. I think that's a wrap. I think we're going to, I like this style. Again, that we really didn't have much like content coming into this, which is kind of how we like it in a way. We just get to go on rants that we don't necessarily know we're going to go down.
Exactly.
And that's the purpose of these. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But as always, remember, go to roughneckspodcast.com because that is where you're going to find the newsletter. That's where you're going to find the merch. That's where you're going to find everything that's going to keep you up to date with all the events, all the different things that are coming. As I always say, Cole keeps thinking of all these crazy things, man.
I got a notebook that's just full of stuff. A lot of them are bad ideas, but they're still full of it.
Well, it's good, as you guys probably experienced from the volleyball tournament. If you're able to get out there or see some of the posts that we put out there regarding it, man, such a good time. More of that is coming, but the best way to, number one, support the podcast, and number two, the way to get up to date and stay up to date with us, going to roughneckspodcast.com, sharing these episodes out, letting people know, grab some merch while you're at it, spread the love. Cole, I think that's a wrap, dude.
That's a wrap.
Until next time.
Roughnecks, out.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Reno's Rants here on the Roughnecks podcast. Make sure to share, follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. And if you have topics that you want us to cover, make sure to get those to us. You can either email us at roughneckspodcast@gmail.com, or you can just simply message us on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever you feel like doing. We will be sure to cover that. Really appreciate all the support you guys are giving us. Until next time.